Alright everyone, it's a Thursday. I've just gotten home from TAFE, so if you didn't get the memo message last time, these Odysseys will come out a little bit later than usual. I will always try and get to them as soon as I can, but because of TAFE and me finishing class at 3:30, it may not always be possible for me to get these out as regularly scheduled as I used to. So, bad to the bone. The balloons are looking for a fight. Be prepared for the later rounds. Okay. So, once again, an Odyssey that is seemingly easy just by looking at the maps, but let's have a look at the conditions. There it is. Okay. So, straight off the bat, half cash. Moab speed is a little bit decreased, so the Moabs are only moving at 90%, and there are some custom rounds in here. Presumably that'll be coming in the later part of the game, so past round 40, something along those lines. Cubism, half cash, oof. Okay, this half, they're just picking on me here. I hate half cash. Half cash is the worst. But that seems to be the only issue here. Half cash, custom rounds, we don't know what that means yet, and slower Moabs. So that's not too bad. We only have to go to 85 max on all of these maps, so it's really just dealing with the fact that it's half cash, which can be quite difficult. In my honest opinion, I'd say half cash mode is more of a pain than chimps. But supposedly we can choose all heroes. That might not actually be the case though. And supposedly we can choose all monkeys and powers. Alright. So, the reason I say that might not always be the case is because, as far as I'm aware, Ninja Kiwi has still not fixed the glitch or the little UI error where it says in the crew details that you can choose all heroes, but when you hit play and you go to heroes, oh no, okay, never mind. That's my bad. Usually, you are restricted in hard mode, but I guess not. That's my bad. Hopefully Ninja Kiwi has fixed that, but I cannot tell until they start limiting heroes in a new Odyssey. Okay, so who should we pick? Oben is usually my go-to, but for half cash mode, Benjamin is pretty damn good. So I'm thinking that maybe choosing Benjamin's a good option here, because that means we won't have to put any banana farms out, because his money gain. Okay. Oh no. Hold on. Just do it. Oh. That could be the end of it. Okay. I also forgot to mention there are workmen just on the other side of my wall. And I was hoping they wouldn't make too much noise, but then he just got a grinder out and he also got a hammer out. So we'll see how it goes. If it gets too much, then we'll just have to maybe record this another time a little bit later. So I apologize for that. If you notice this video coming out around like 7 or 8 o'clock, then the workmen have truly screwed me over here. Alright, but let's quit delaying it. We love our ninja. We love our Ninja Alchemist combo, so we're going to rock 2 of those. We do like mages as well. Sadly, we're only allowed 1 apparently. We also love our planes. Recently, I've been really getting into the planes on these maps. I've also started appreciating bomb shooters a lot more, and we'll get 1 village, just because I always feel a lot safer with a village, even if it's just like, even if I don't end up using it. I always just feel a lot better knowing that if I can't pop something at this point in time, I can place a village, solve the problem, easy as. I also am really appreciative of engineers lately, so I think that'll just about be our build. Let's get right into the Odyssey. Hopefully, not too much interruption from the builders. If there are, that's fine. We can just roll with it. Roll with the punches. So, this is one of the reasons I do highly recommend getting a bunch of upgrades in the monkey knowledge that reduce the cost of towers. So normally, a lot of the military monkeys would be a lot more pricier and you wouldn't be able to afford them off the start. So that's always handy, and having a free dart monkey in half cash mode is extraordinarily useful. means you can place that down and another set of defense so that you're not completely vulnerable while you are trying to actually get a decent amount of cash. So I think we'll go for a ninja and a dart monkey to start us off. And auto starts on, that's good. Alright, let's just roll with it and see how we go. So I honestly just despise half cash mode, like with a passion, because I feel like chimps mode I can handle easily, whereas like half cash mode, it's like, even if you, like, especially if you don't set up like extra ways to gain income, it can be your worst nightmare. Just like these builders outside who are currently drilling into my head as well as the wall. Okay, but hopefully they'll give me enough time to talk, and hopefully my mic is too crappy that it doesn't even pick it up that much, but I'm pretty sure it will. So, are they on the roof? It sounds like they're on the roof. What the hell are they doing up there? They're meant to be... You know what? I trust the process. They know what they're doing. I've got no clue what they're doing. Hopefully they get it done soon and with minimal noise level. So for half cash mode, if I'm playing with Benjamin, usually I like to get a small defense setup, something like this. Like nothing too extreme, but it can handle itself for a few rounds. Plus I presume the custom rounds and the difficulty is going to come in the later rounds, so I can still kind of slack off in this early game part. So I'm going to try and stick with this until we can afford Benjamin, and then Benjamin's going to like instantly make up the cash that we spend on him. So it'll be alright. In like, what, 5-10 rounds, he'll make up the cash. Now that may seem like a long time, but you gotta remember that all the while he's making up extra cash, you're still gaining cash from these rounds by popping balloons and ending each individual round as well. So it's not too bad, and Benjamin will only be a benefit to you in half cash mode if you get him before round 40. If you get him after round 40, he's a bit... It's like you're stunting his growth. So just like if a child has stunted growth, they're not going to reach their maximum potential of where they would have been ordinarily. So let's slow it down so we can place Benjamin in the middle of the round, just to make sure we get the end of round cash from him. Now, we'll only be half cash. You have to remember that. But we will slowly be able to make up for the crappy defense we've had thus far with the extra cash that Benjamin's getting us. So look at that. Instantly such a better defense. And then we can work on getting double shot as well as a potential crossbow master for the later rounds. Okay, so honestly, I'm not sure how well this Odyssey is going to go for me right now, because we've got workmen outside, I've just gotten home, so people could come in here and just be asking me like how my day was, if I can help out with something later, things like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm perfectly fine with them doing that, as well as the builders doing their job. Like, it's only going to be for today, and then everything will be fine. But just as a heads up, so if there's a lot of times where it kind of skips ahead in the video, that's just me editing out something really loud, or you know, if like one of my family members comes in, it's just going to be me talking to them. So nothing missed there, and I won't alter anything on the screen either. So Benjamin all around is just an amazing hero when it comes to generating cash. As you can see, he's already made $825 extra for us. He's almost paid for himself, which is beautiful. And let's get our alchemist in here because we kind of need him. Alright, but we're not doing it too poorly here. Benjamin's just about to pay himself off. Beautiful, there it is. So we can slowly get our Ninja Alchemist strategy going here. You know we love it. We use it all the time when possible, and because this isn't an extreme Odyssey, we can happily use it as many times as we want. Every single map. Alright, so as usual, try and get your Bloom Jutsu as well as Stronger Stimulant. Faster throwing's optional if If you're only using it on the ninja, that's perfectly fine to just leave faster throwing on its own. You can even go for the middle path if you really wanted to, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. But if you are trying to buff multiple monkeys at one time with one alchemist, 100% go for faster throwing. Faster throwing is so good. Oh, alright. As far as I can tell, nothing has been altered as of yet in terms of custom rounds. I have not witnessed anything that looks out of the ordinary. We haven't lost, so, you know, nothing has shown up that would surprise you early on. So I think we're alright for now, but I've got a few rounds in mind that they might, let's say, modify slightly. But considering the Moabs are slowed down to 90% instead of being at their usual 100%, I have a feeling they're going to be focusing on changing certain Moab aspects rather than balloons, because they've modified regular balloons so much before. They've either made them all regrow balloons or all camo balloons or a bit of both. So they're unlikely to do that again, even though they did do an all camo one twice, which is a bit weird, but understandable. Okay, so the first Moab is perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. It's at 90% speed, of course, and Benjamin makes sure that nothing spawns from that Moab. And there we go. So we've just set up our full Ninja Alchemist combo by round 41, which is pretty good. So long as you get the Balloon Jitsu first before the stronger stimulant, you should have no problems popping the Moab. And if you've got Benjamin down early enough, he can make sure the Moab does not cause any problems after you've popped it. Hey, level up, 146. Not too shabby. I'll have to have a look at my monkey knowledge after this. I think I've only got to upgrade powers now, but there is a good one that I really want to reach. I think it's not like a great one, but it reduces the cost of entering a race, I think, which is still a pretty nice. Reduces how much monkey money you have to spend, and here we go. So, round 45, a BFB shows up. That is not normal. I'm telling you that right now. Round 60 is when a BFB should be showing up for the first time, and that's quite a heavy jump right there. So round 45 has been altered. That makes me scared because they sent out something that was meant to be on round 60 on round 45. And because we're in half cash mode, you're going to have to set up a solid defense quick. Luckily, we already had a sharpshooter Ninja Alchemist set up, but Benjamin might not actually, or it's hard to say. Benjamin's really strong if he makes it to the late game. Okay, here we go, another custom round. Round 49, another BFB is being sent out. This is crazy. I'm not even sure we'll have time to save up for Crossbow Master. And there it is, another BFB after that. This is alright. We've managed it so far, but still, this is a bit hectic. That's normal. Moab on 50 is normal. There should be another Moab at the end of round 50, so if there's anything different, that's going to be a bit strange. But it's looking like they just want us to pop a bunch of Moabs. So, instead of going for something like a Crossbow Master right now, I'm going to go for a Monkey Ace. We're going to go top path to get Operation Dartstorm, and see, considering they sent out something on round 60 on round 45 instead, I'm going to go middle path to get the spy plane, so that if they do in fact send out any DDTs, so the first DDT should come out at round 90, but considering the BFB came out at round 45, I don't want to run the risk of not being prepared for that when they do show up. So we'll prepare for the DDTs. We'll even throw down a village here, just to make sure everything in range has really strong popping power and can pop anything they need to. That'll just help everything out, and we can place even more stuff around it, making it even stronger. So let's... I think this is going to be an Odyssey where we don't heavily rely on too many 5th tiers, but if you are able to get 5th tiers, it's going to make this so much easier for you. because, I mean, I was planning on saving up for Crossbow Master, but when they sent out that BFB on 45, I was just like, yeah, no, there's no way I'm able to save up for this in time before I lose now. Because, generally speaking, if you're just playing normally, without these custom rounds, you can easily go Ninja Alchemist, build up into a Crossbow Master, because these guys have really good protection, especially if you've got Benjamin. Like, if you're getting that extra cash, you can easily get a Crossbow Master after a Ninja Alchemist combo, and then just slowly start building into other 5th tiers, while the previous one you got protects you. Alright, so round 60 is normal. That's what came out on 45 as well, so that's perfectly fine. Round 63 though, how are we going to deal with that? I wonder. I guess we'll see how we go. We do have Benjamin's second ability to handle one of the waves solo. I just wonder how well we will go completely here. So let's see. First wave of ceramics. How do we fare? Do we fare alright? How are we looking? Not too bad. Okay. We got a pretty decent setup here. So we'll wait for the second wave. The second wave is usually the same as the first wave, so it shouldn't be that difficult to take out. Provided we have a good RNG and strong defense. And now we'll use this on the third wave. Hopefully it should be coming out in time. There it is. Okay, so all of those ceramics just got reduced down to zebras and made it a hell of a lot easier to pop them. So there we go, round 63 is not too much of a fuss, provided you can beat the first 2 waves. The third wave, which is stronger and has more ceramics in it, is pathetic. You don't even need to worry too much. And there's a ZOMG. Okay, so it seems like, what was it, 45 and now 65. So it seems like these guys are coming out 15 rounds earlier than they should be. So the BFB usually comes out on 60, came out on 45, and the ZOMG usually comes out on 80, came out on 65, and that doesn't look good at all. Alright. Damn. So even with all that extra cash we've racked up, we still can't pop this guy. Alright. Well, I'm sure we can pop it, it's just a little bit more of a struggle. So let's get that, see if that makes too much of a difference. What sort of primary monkeys do we have in range? Not really many. So let's get ourselves a bomb shooter. Let's just a Moab Mauler with heavy bombs. And we'll see how much damage that does, because this guy absolutely destroys Moabs. Or at least he definitely did in BTD5. He was a powerhouse. So it should do a lot to help out here against this ZOMG. And then hopefully we can pop everything that comes out of it rather quickly. How are we looking? Is that just too many balloons, maybe? That might just be too many balloons. Okay, that's fine too. We have a process for this. So, one teensy little bomb shooter did not cover it. I wonder if getting MIB would actually help. I don't think it would. Not at this point in time. Okay, what can we sell here? Or should we sell anything at all? If we sell ourselves something weak, we could potentially get Arcane Spike, which would help clear up quite a bit. Okay. Just trying to think of other solutions that doesn't involve selling right at the moment, because the problem isn't the ZOMG, the problem is the balloons after it. So we'll go for Recursive Cluster. Put that on strong. Oh, strong? Was that on strong? No, close. Okay, good. I wanted it on close. Good. Oh, there's another place here. We will try and get another Recursive Cluster back there, but I think this will help us out if we pop the Moabs in the right place. I think that'll help us out a lot in dealing with the rest. So that one's already doing well. Let's get heavier bombs for this one. Okay, and then pop that. Here we go. So the Recursive Cluster does a crap ton of damage to balloons around it. The only problem is it can't pop black and zebra balloons, which is why I wanted to get the MIB, but obviously that wouldn't have helped out because we didn't have the clusters and we couldn't afford them both at the same time. So there we go, we managed to solve the problem fairly easily. This is why I love bomb shooters, by the way. Recursive Cluster is such an overpowered tower if you have an MIB with it, so that it can pop camo balloons. Or just go for a shimmer as well. If you get a shimmer with your wizard, then that can also clear out most of the issues there. But we shouldn't, as far as I'm aware, we're not having to worry about individual balloons, we're having to worry about MOABs. So things like ZOMGs and BFBs and potentially DDTs are going to be the problem, whereas something like camo-led balloons will just show up as usual. No fuss, no muss. And there we go, we can handle things very well here. Going to be trying to get that MIB so that these recursive clusters can deal even more damage. Because, like, when you think about it, if I had gotten the MIB then, what would have changed considering we didn't have these two bomb shooters? Like, this guy could pop purples. The Dart Monkey could pop leads, but the Alchemist already made him able to pop leads, so really no change at all. I guess the only real change would be that this guy could pop purple balloons, and that was not our problem. Our problem was all the grouped up ceramics after popping all those BFBs inside the ZOMG. So that's why I went for the recursive cluster strategy before going for the MIB, because we really didn't need the MIB just yet. Alright, but we seem to be cruising. Round 73, not too shabby. Now, if my theory is correct, in that essentially they're just sending out certain rounds sooner than others. So I don't know why we got a banded ZOMG there. That's a bit weird, but that's something to take note of. Banded ZOMG does not usually show up on 74. But yeah, if my theory's correct about this custom round system, then theoretically the last round in this game should be DDTs. Or at least DDTs should show up, because round 75 plus 15 rounds is round 90, which is when DDTs do show up. But never mind, I'm happy to be wrong. Alright, let's move on to cubism. Okay, so now we know what we're up against. Round 45 is probably going to be the biggest pain that we have to sort out first. Beyond that, shouldn't be too difficult to get ourselves through this. Okay, we're starting on round 6. That is something to note, because I believe on this one we started round 3. Round 6 is a much bigger starting point when it comes to half cash mode, because it means you have to rely on your monkeys even more in the early game to get you the amount of cash that you want, and a decent sort of foothold for you to continue kicking butt in the late game without just running out of cash and not being able to afford the goods for upgrades. So I think we'll just see how regular Dart Monkey goes here, because it is round 6. I don't expect it to pop everything. We'll just see how it runs, because there are situations where you can just place the free Dart Monkey and then you can get Benjamin, and believe me, you scrape by with the small amount of lives you have left. But that's the best thing about Benjamin. You leave him on there for long enough and he'll start regenerating your lives. So it's sort of like a win-win. If you can manage to squeeze through the early game with just a Dart Monkey, like I'm trying to do here, then the late game will be much easier because you got Benjamin a lot earlier. And maps like Cubism and Logs are the perfect maps to do that on, where the balloons just come around loads of times, so you only lose like 4 lives, for example. So there you go. And then we should be able to afford Benjamin at some point during this round. If you're really desperate, you don't necessarily have to place a Ninja Monkey. Ninjas are 500, which is very expensive. You could just go for quick shots or long-range darts. It can certainly help you out without spending 500. Did he just miss a red balloon? Okay, so we will lose a few more lives here. And this is the part you have to watch out for, is that you will lose a few lives here, and when you place Benjamin, you will lose a heck of a lot more lives. Because Benjamin offers no sort of offensive capability, so you have to make sure that you can survive the round after you place Benjamin. So I'm pretty sure I can survive this round. It's just a bunch of blue balloons. It's nothing too crazy, and we won't lose 158 lives. Like we could definitely burn through our mana shield here. Yep, easily. And then we'll start chipping away at these, but that's perfectly fine because now we get plus 75 from Benjamin, which means we can go quick shots and make our Dart Monkey a little bit more efficient. Now that doesn't mean that we won't lose any more lives, but it'll certainly help us out. So there you go, even further vision as well as camo detection. Those yellows could cause a bit of a problem considering they're really fast. Yep, one snuck through, but that's alright. Mana shield protected us there, and Benjamin is going to start regenerating lives for us soon enough. So that's the entire reason I picked Benjamin for this Odyssey, was because it was half cash mode. Benjamin is my go-to for half cash mode, just because since it's not chimps mode, I'm not restricted on earning extra cash, and half cash mode is the most ideal situation where you want to be earning a crap ton more money than what you would normally be receiving. So there we go. We're managing pretty well here. Our mana shield's recovering, and Benjamin's going to be racking in some lives soon enough for us. But now, once we get to the crossbow is a really good upgrade, so I would advise getting that. Triple shot's also pretty good, especially for early game and if you want a cheap defense. But crossbow's solid. Like, look at that. Just the extra pierce on the shot is so helpful. So I'm gonna get that, and then I will be going for a ninja now. So instead of placing a ninja round 1, I'm placing it round 18, which is a very big difference and can be quite scary. But thanks to Benjamin, hopefully we can make up the difference and get our Ninja Alchemist combo set up in time for round 45, which is when Ninja Kiwi has decided shit will hit the fan. But yeah, seem pretty chill at the moment. As usual, first video won't get edited at all, unless of course, you know, super loud noises. I'll mute those segments, and if anybody comes into my room to have a chat, I'll mute those as well. But generally, try not to edit my videos, or edit the part 1s too much. I try to keep them very unedited, just so that, like, if there's any confusion whatsoever about the Odyssey, I'm bound to talk about it at some point. So get the Alchemist here. The Alchemist by himself can pop leads, but if you get Acidic Mixture Dip, these two can also pop leads if he throws it at them. So that's the entire reason I just placed him, because up until now we could not pop them at all. So get our double shot. Probably go for Berserker Brew next and then Balloon Jitsu, just because Berserker Brew is quite handy. So I think we found that in the last game we made, like, I think, what, 1,000, 1,500 extra cash with Benjamin when we were getting close to round 40. This game, 1,800 already, and it's not even hit round 40 yet, which was, I'm pretty sure that was the time that we checked. So already, placing Benjamin as soon as possible is extremely useful in half cash, but you do have to be very watchful and mindful of the chance that you might not be ready for the round where you place him. So for certain other maps, it's not a very good option. But for maps like Cubism and Logs, where the balloons have to continuously just go through the same route over and over again, like this hot spot right here, you just fill this up with decent defense and you can get Benjamin in no time. Okay, let's get ourselves the Bloom Jitsu. And now that we know what we're going up against, we're not going to bother trying to go for a 5th tier Crossbow Master. Like, we will still get up to Sharpshooter, because Sharpshooter helped us deal with the Moab on the last map, or the first Moab, as well as round 45, when the shit hit the fan. But presumably we can manage this fairly easily. So, first Moab, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Round 40, you expect it, and it shows up, which is perfect. But we are very scared of round 45, because that is a BFB. We do not like those, they do not like us. We try and minimize the contact between the two. Luckily though, we're playing on Cubism, which is a very lovely map. The last map was okay. There were some spots where it looped around a bit, but not as heavily as this. Like, it'll loop here. Sorry, I had a sore voice. So here's the BFB. It has to come all the way down here. It'll probably get popped somewhere in this triangle, I'd say. And then the mobs will get a bit of a distance on them, but overall, they still had to come all the way around here, all the way back through, and then just brushing over it again. So we very much had that situation under control. Get the faster throwing, get ourselves a sharpshooter, and now let's place our village. I feel like that was something we could have done a lot sooner, is place the village. So obviously we're not lacking in any sort of areas in terms of damage. Like, this guy right here can pop leads, camos, purples, camo, purple, lead, balloons. If they existed, they could pop them, right? So we don't necessarily need this village at the moment, but we do want to make sure that once we place down these bomb shooters, that they can in fact pop lead balloons. No, not lead balloons. What is it? Not camo balloons. Is it camo balloons? Yeah, we want them to pop camo balloons, don't we? No, and black and zebra balloons, that was it. So, not only do we want them to pop camo balloons with the radar scanner, but we also want them to pop black and zebra balloons, which is listed under all balloon types in that text there. So, once we get the MIB here, I think we've got a pretty good break period here, away from all the crazy custom rounds that they're handing out. So I think after 45 you can sort of relax a little bit, obviously not too much, but by that time you should have a semi-decent defense going on, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you. So there's the MIB, which does nothing at the moment, but we're going to start setting up our bomb shooters with recursive clusters, which should blow up anything that needs to be blown up, pretty much. So at the moment it's just doing pathetic amounts of damage, which is fair. We have not got ourselves a cluster bomb or recursive cluster yet, but slowly I'll just move them over there so you guys can see the start of the map. Alright, so let's get ourselves a recursive cluster. Also, we could go for a bigger radius and faster attacking, or we could go for double discounts so that these bomb shooters are a little bit cheaper for us. Quite handy, especially in half cash mode, to make upgrades a little bit cheaper for yourself. But if you are doing the cheaper upgrade strategy, I would highly recommend you try and get the village out a lot sooner and get those upgrades a lot faster, and then just place the rest of your defense around it, so that you can make the most of those small discounts. Okay, so we've got our first recursive cluster here. Now, with recursive cluster and being able to pop black and zebra balloons, round 63 shouldn't be too much of a problem, but the last time I checked, just to be sure, it's better to have 2 recursive clusters than just 1. So I'm going to put down another one. I might not get it up in time for round 63, but that's perfectly fine, because I'm pretty sure the rest of our defense is solid enough to be able to handle it. if the need arises. And we've also got Benjamin's second ability as well as his first one. His first one's honestly not that great. In terms of like abilities that your heroes can use across the board of BTD6, Benjamin's first one is just kind of meh. Like, it's good in very specific situations where you're just lacking a little bit of DPS, but other than that, it's the fact that it stops your towers from attacking like for like 1 or 2 seconds afterwards is just such a deficit. You have to time the ability like pitch perfectly in order to utilize it completely. Okay, so there's our second recursive cluster, and if we can pop this ZOMG down to regular balloons, the recursive clusters will absolutely do their job perfectly. So this is a fairly good strategy. By round 65 you should have 2 recursive clusters and a decent defense, which would just immediately destroy the ZOMG, which is pretty solid. Now, what else can we go for? I'm thinking, or can we not fit a plane in? Maybe up here? There we go. Okay, so we can fit a plane in, perfect. So, we've got good balloon popping power defense with these 2 recursive clusters and the MIB. So, the only thing that's left is Moab popping power. So we're going to go for a fighter plane, launch a few nukes at these balloons a lot sooner than just waiting for them to hit the money spot right here. Get ourselves Operation Dartstorm. I don't think we'll need much else in terms of damage, unless round 80 is, like I feared for round 75, DDTs. Because DDTs can be such a pain, and that is also where the MIB comes into it. Making sure that every single one of your towers can both see camo balloons and pop lead balloons means you've got a much higher chance of dealing with a DDT if it does show up. So hopefully it doesn't, so that we don't have to deal with them too much, but just in case we will... Well, we've already got our MIB set up, but yeah, just in case, always get an MIB set up fairly quickly. And as you... Ooh, excuse me. As you can see, Benjamin's racked up 6,000 extra cash for us, which is delightful. And on top of that, has restored all of our lives to full, and our mana shield has had enough time to heal up itself. So, obviously placing Benjamin early is a very risky strategy, but it can pay off much more in the later rounds if you can, in fact, pull it off. So, honestly, I think our defense is really solid at the moment. I think we'll just play a bit more of a reactionary game, where, like, instead of trying to prepare beforehand for threats that we do not know, because past round 75, we've never been before, at least not for this Odyssey and these custom rounds. Instead of just trying to, like, prepare for something that we don't know, we're gonna just wait, see what it is, and if we need to, we can back out, come back in, and then we know exactly what we need to work on, like Moab defense, balloon defense, things like that. And we'd be able to prepare for it a little bit better. So for example, that banded ZOMG did get quite far. The balloons that came out of the Moabs in the end got up to around here, which is a bit scary, but the recursive clusters are obviously highly damaging enough to be able to deal with that without too many issues. And once again, recursive clusters just going to obliterate things like that. Just a bunch of ceramics, no problem. So what else can we get? I suppose we could get another monkey ace. Getting another monkey ace could mean... can we somehow fit this in where it gets the buff? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we'll get another monkey ace, get more Moab popping power, because that seems to be what we're lacking on, considering that banded ZOMG got that far. So if we get another Operation Dartstorm up, I think that should help us out quite a bit. Solve a few more problems, and look at that, BFB gets popped before it even reaches the rest of the towers, so I'd say that's a very good sign. Okay, Okay, so it's looking pretty good. These recursive clusters, by the way, are insane. I don't know if I should have mentioned this before at some point in a different video. But these recursive clusters, if you just have 2 of them, and make sure that they can pop any type of balloon using the MIB, or just something even a bit more like barbaric, like just putting an alchemist with them and making sure you've got a shimmer up the front. Just making sure in some way, shape or form they can pop every type of balloon is just exactly what you need. And it looks like, oh my god. Okay. So that's a thing. Alright, well, I was not expecting this. There's a BAD on round 80. This is fine because it is moving at 90% speed, so it's not as fast as it could be. We will slow it down for when it pops though, because there are DDTs inside and I don't know if we're ready for that. Come on. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, it's got one more damage phase. Should be soon though. Very soon. Okay, so this is an interesting Odyssey. Okay, so these DDTs won't last too long. Yep, absolutely shredded. And the recursive clusters can finish them off. Okay, so that was intense. I was not expecting a BAD on round 80. 100% not. I was expecting at the very worst, I was expecting a banded DDT. So that's just blown me away that they actually would do that to us. A BAD on round 80 is insane to defend against. Okay, so just to sort of summarize everything that's going on, Moab speed is at 90% because that's what they're going to be changing in these custom rounds. The Moabs are going to be coming out sooner than you expect, and they will be hitting you hard, especially because it's half cash mode, so you really need to make up that extra cash. If you want to throw in Benjamin as well as a couple banana farms as well, by all means go for it. You can get boats as well. Boats will give you passive income if you go around the bottom path. There's plenty of water on all of these maps, so you're not going to be lacking too much in that. The first big round that's a problem is around 45, which sends out a BFB. And then on bloody round 80, they send out, they have the balls to send out a bloody BAD. I guess that's why it's called Bad to the Bone, but damn. So on logs, admittedly one of the easiest maps in the game, we will have to go past round 85, or past round 80 to round 85, so we'll definitely be versing more BADs. Carved is a bit more calm, it's like the first map, nothing too extreme. And then Adora's Temple, I don't even know how we're going to work that, but we will probably have to get some sort of 5th tier Sky Shredder or something to be able to make that work. Alright, so that's Bad to the Bone Part 1. I really hope you can't hear the construction that's going on outside at the moment. Oh, never mind, they've quietened down a bit, so I'll just throw this in here. Alright, so that was Bad to the Bone Part 1. I will be releasing Part 2 tomorrow around this time, so keep an eye out for that one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad to be back into the swing of things, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.